Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the miserable liberal and Ron Placone.
Howdy, howdy.
I'm miserable.
Guess what? So Donnie Trump did a little flippy floppy. Here's what he says.
My original instinct was to pull out. And historically, I like following my instincts. But all my life, I've heard that decisions are much different when you sit behind the desk in the...
He sounds like he's sitting behind a desk in fourth grade. That's how he's reading. Is that unbelievable? Tradition. I mean, anyway, I don't want to make fun of his reading too much, but he is reading the hell out of it. And it is funny that all they did was make fun of Barack Obama for reading off a teleprompter. Well, at least he could do it. This guy, literally, it's like if he could just put his finger underneath each word, he would. I don't know.
Is he going to tell us where the Oval Office is, too?
What do you mean?
I think he says in the Oval Office in the White House. Come on.
Oh, ready? Yeah, here he goes. Ready? Watch.
Office. America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out. I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
Okay. So,
I like all the hand gestures.
Yeah.
Attack, we will.
So it's a bunch of non-interventionist talk, and then he all of a sudden becomes a tough guy again. He becomes MacArthur or Patton or something. And first of all, I'm going to invest in some paper towels. Why, Jimmy? Why are you going to invest in paper towels? Because all the people that called Trump a non-interventionist have a bunch of egg on their face that they got to wipe off. Wipe off that egg. I'm one of them. Because he stated time and time again that he was a non-interventionist. His whole thing was that we messed up by getting involved in the Middle East and all that stuff. But here's the thing that he said that, we talked about this on the show already. Why are we really in Afghanistan? Well, the minerals. They have $1 trillion worth of rare earth minerals. It also had to do with a natural gas pipeline that never got built, but no one ever talks about that. But here's what he says now. Here's what Trump says now.
As the Prime Minister of Afghanistan has promised, we are going to participate in economic development to help defray the cost of this war to us.
Wow. So there you go. So Trump, sure, we're going to have endless war, but Trump's going to steal some stuff from Afghanistan to help pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, that's pretty much. He basically just bluntly says what no other president will say, but they all do the same shit.
So he's saying it out loud, like, hey, we're going to steal their natural resources. Whereas the other president, I love how people got so mad at President Trump for saying that we should have stolen the oil. We should have taken their oil in Iraq, right? We did. Everybody's like, how could you say that? We did. Shell Oil, British Petrol, BP, they got it. They got it. So,
well, I just really love this soundbite because he's saying, like, it's a lot different once you're behind the chair in the Oval Office. He is pretty much telling everybody to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
But he's also acknowledging what every president has pretty much ever done. Ever. I mean, Obama was all like, hey, we really fucked up in the Middle East. We got to fix this. The Bush administration was totally wrong. And then look what he did. It really wasn't all that different when Obama got in office. I mean, this is,
so
once you get behind the seat, everything changes. And Trump, it's still shitty, but Trump's the only one that actually says that.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's actually refreshing that he's admitting that we're going to steal their resources to pay for our invasion so we could spread democracy.
I guess it's refreshing. So as Bill Hicks said, so he couldn't have been, you were making the point about Barack Obama was all his rhetoric in the first campaign, all non-interventionist rhetoric. Trump, all he does was talk about getting out of the Middle East, what a mistake it is, and all that stuff. We should build our own country. And now look at that. He switched just like that. He's in office, 6-7 months? Boom. He switched like that, right? So as Bill Hicks said, I think when you become president, they take you into a room and they show you a film of the Zapruder film or the Kennedy
It was
assassination.
JFK, I thought.
That's
Yeah.
right. They show you
JFK
from an angle you've never seen before.
Yeah.
and then they just go, any questions?
Just what my agenda is.
No problem. What's my agenda? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that seems to be happening to Trump. Trump and Bannon were very much about non-interventionism, and this is weird that he's ramping up the war in Afghanistan. So, but the reason I'm playing this, so that's happened. So we're going to talk more about that in another segment. But this segment I want to talk about, I was watching the Rachel Maddows last night because my clicker was broken and I couldn't switch over to Shark Tank. So I decided to watch a little because they had some military people on, and let's watch this guy. This guy's a war hero.
Let me ask you about the first question that I just raised a moment ago about the president's speech tonight. What do you think the president means when he says we're going to participate in economic development to help defray the cost of this war to us? Do you know what he's talking about?
I first of all appreciate she asked the question. I also appreciate she pretended to not know what it means.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's just, I've never heard of this shit happening before.
You know what the hell he could possibly be talking about? You know
What
he could
kind
do?
of Rhodes Scholar is she?
What could he be talking about? So now he does this.
Well, the first conclusion, I was being facetious. I'm going to be facetious, but the first conclusion that came to my mind is that we're going to now harvest poppies and we're going to sell them, and that's how we're going to fund it.
That is funny because, oh, wait a minute. We did that thing here in the United States. CIA brought cocaine into our... Anyway, not so funny.
Well, which is exactly what the Taliban is doing. But I think you're right. It sounds like we are going to be involved in extricating, releasing mineral wealth from...
We're going to be... Did you hear that? What he said? We're going to be releasing mineral wealth. I don't know if you know, but
we're giving the mineral wealth democracy.
Yes,
the mineral wealth it needs to be free and have its own democracy. So we're gonna extract
I didn't rob that bank. I released it. I released the money from its vault.
It's liberated money now.
Yes,
the money hated freedom, and then we taught the money
to like freedom, and now it's released.
Yep,
we gave it its freedom. You're free, money. You're free. That's awesome. Let's listen to it again.
Extricating, releasing mineral wealth from, and there is substantial mineral wealth, though I don't know whether or not it can be taken out in an efficient way. We're going to take that out of Afghanistan. You know, the Chinese are already there doing that, and I think that the United States is concerned that we're not getting our share. But I think that's a...
Do you hear this guy? Do you hear all this stuff? This is their military advisor. By the way, Rachel Maddow pushes back on him 0 for any of this stuff he's saying. Well, we're not going to get our share. Our share of someone else's country? Our share of one of the poorest countries in the world who we've been occupying militarily for almost 20 frickin' years. Our share? What the F? You know, the Chinese are already doing this, so we better... Do you hear these guys? This is how the American military and the American neoliberals think, that the world is ours to split up. We got to get in there with our corporations and take some of those minerals out of there. We have to release some of their wealth. But Rachel Maddow, 0 pushback. She's 0 pushback. She does say this.
Exactly what he means.
Under these circumstances, this is an ongoing war, obviously. You know, we're well over year 15 in Afghanistan. This is not something that the president's planning to do as some sort of other project. He wants to do this as part of the war. I mean, under U.S. military ethics, can the U.S. government go in with the protection of U.S. soldiers and extract the wealth of another country?
Wow, that's spoken like a true journalist whose paycheck is dependent on not being honest about what's really going on in the Middle East. Can we just go in there with our military? Can we do that? Do you see her? First of all, she no pushback on the stuff he said previously. Any of that stuff, it's like, we better get what's ours. What's ours? Now, she can't say any of that stuff. She can't say any of it, and she's not. So she just kind of asked the question again, like, I wish you would say what I can't say. Can you please say that it's wrong that we're doing this? Can you just say how unbelievably upside down and backwards this is, that we invade a foreign country, occupy it for 20 years, and then steal their natural resources explicitly in public? Can you please say it? Because I can't say that. That's what Rachel Maddow's doing. She's trying to get him to say it. Let's watch what he says.
Well, we can. We've done it before. There's no reason why we can't do it again.
Boo. So you're telling, wow. There it is. Rachel Maddow asked the question. He says, yes, we've done it before. We could do it again. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing it. I'm going to play that for you one more time.
You know, we're well over year 15 in Afghanistan. This is not something that the president's planning to do as some sort of other project. He wants to do this as part of the war. I mean, under U.S. military ethics, can the U.S. government...
I love how she says under military ethics. Military ethics. What is military ethics? That sounds like something if you try to uphold, you get tortured for it.
Yep. Absolutely. I like how she almost accidentally said War 15 too. Like she quickly corrected herself. She almost said War 15 instead of year 15.
Oh, did she?
'Cause I was like, we're almost halfway there to War 15.
War 15. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here's the big question.
Go in with the protection of U.S. soldiers and extract the wealth of another country?
Well, we can. We've done it before. There's no reason why we can't do it again.
And then you see Rachel go, yep. Like she has to go, whoa. Right? Okay.
Yeah, like how about whoa? What examples do you want to give us? This is compared to what time in history? Like,
Nothing.
give us the list of all the times that we went in and we released precious minerals or gold or oil.
So when I criticize Rachel Maddow, I don't just do it lightly. I don't like, she's not as good as she could be. She didn't like Bernie as much as I wanted her to. She's a fucking mouthpiece for the military-industrial complex, 100%, and that's what this is. There's no pushback.
Can the U.S. government go in with the protection of U.S. soldiers and extract the wealth of another country?
Well, we can. We've done it before. There's no reason why we can't do it again. But the real question is, what difference does that make in terms of achieving war objectives? If at the end of the day what we really want to do is to have a central government in Kabul that can actually control Afghanistan. The Taliban is not a factor anymore. The people in Afghanistan can defend themselves. The Afghan army is at top condition. If that's what we're looking to do, then none of the things that he said are actually going to contribute to that, including even to the point of building a big wall, an impenetrable wall between Afghanistan on the one hand and Pakistan on the other. The real problem is actually inside Pakistan, and it includes a corrupt government, no control over local areas, a poorly trained army, and so on. None of the things that the president mentioned are going to change that very much, except a commitment to stay in Afghanistan for several decades.
So I don't know if you just heard what he said. So he said a lot of stuff. Rachel Maddow, by the way, pushes back 0. Hey, is it under military ethics? Is it okay to go in with our military and then steal their stuff? Yes, it is. We've done it before. Do it again. There's no reason why we can't. Okay, I guess no follow up on that. and then he goes all the way to the end, and at the end he says, none of that though will help meet our war objective. The only thing that will help meet our war objective, I don't know if you heard what he said. I'll play it for you again.
Very much, except a commitment to stay in Afghanistan for several decades.
The only thing that would help our war objective is a commitment to stay in Afghanistan for several decades. This is the stuff they're putting on MSNBC. They bring on experts to come on to tell everybody it's okay if we steal theirs, if we invade illegally and take theirs. It doesn't matter. If that's what we've done it before, we do it again. There's no reason why we couldn't. Hey, by the way, China's coming. We want to get our stuff before China. He sounds like Trump. And Rachel Maddow just lets him go, says not a goddamn thing to him. And then he says the only thing that will help us reach our war objectives is if we stay there for a couple more decades. This is their military expert that they're bringing on. By the way, this guy teaches at the War College. He's a big shot Pentagon. Where they train? West Point. Yeah. So this guy needs a war hero, the whole deal. This guy's the real deal guy. And he is that's how the military thinks. The world's our pie to slice up and take it by force, whatever we want. And we should just stay there as long as we need, whatever. And Rachel Maddow doesn't go, that doesn't sound crazy to you that we should stay there for a couple more decades? That doesn't sound so endless war? Yes. And that's what they want. That's what her bosses want. Believe me, if Rachel Maddow ever says one thing that costs Comcast a nickel, they will fire her. And that's why she doesn't. And that's why she lets guys from the Pentagon come on her TV show and say stuff like this. She brings on a guy from the Pentagon, just like NBC News has always done. They bring on a military guy who's pro-war as if he's giving you some insight. And all he's giving you is war propaganda. Of course we go in and take their stuff. We've done it before. We'll do it again. Blah, blah, blah.
China's doing it. They're doing it, and we've done it before. And what do you mean ethical? I mean, we've done it. Okay, no further questions.
No further questions. So I think that's gross. I think it's this is why we go to war. This is the kind of horrible news coverage that brings us to war. And shame on MSNBC and Rachel Maddow, as always. And you wonder why people get their news from YouTube.